Hello and welcome back. Yeah, guys, it's your boys from Universus Academy. I'm Matt, and with me, of course, is my co-host, Mr. Chris Smith. Chris, how you doing, man?
I'm nervous. I haven't done this ever.
I know,
This is
right?
the first. It feels like our first time again.
It's
You know,
basically
it's
like
just
starting completely over, right? Like you
yeah,
take a month
yeah,
off in this game, and you're you're
yeah,
you're
yeah,
brand new.
yeah.
All
It's like
subs are
welcome.
gone. All followers
Yeah,
are
I
gone.
know. It's like, oh man. It's like, wow. Just to let everybody know, a lot of life stuff happened on both our lives. We just couldn't catch up. So,
Yeah.
hopefully, I know we said this last time. So hopefully, we can get on the horse again and
Right.
get you guys more
Well, and so
stuff.
like
So,
so with that, like legitimately, like in the past month, right?
yeah.
Like I moved down, I got settled and all this stuff. Had an impromptu wedding, so we got married.
Oh,
Yeah.
congratulations.
That
Yeah.
happened. Had to get my family and coordinate all that sort of stuff to get them put down. We just did
Yeah.
something small here at the house, nothing major.
Yeah.
And then even in that, so like the week leading up to that was when I went back to work. So we had like all these trainings and stuff. Then a few days
Mm.
after that, we had a couple more days of training, and then the kids came back starting last week.
Oh wow, they started school already?
Yeah, so like
Holy
tomorrow,
crap.
like I got to go back into work, and we're back in the full swing
Yeah.
of things now. And so
Oh
teaching a new
wow.
subject at a new school, like it just takes a little while to get your legs underneath you.
Hmm.
So yeah, it's been very busy in my life. But that being said, I have been staying in touch with the game. I got to
Yeah.
play in some things a little bit here and there, and even further, I've watched some things here and there, and definitely
Mm-hmm.
read some things here and there as well. So we're going to talk about
Yay,
all
written
those
content.
things.
We love written. We're old. We love written content. It's
It
the
really is
best.
true. Like I'm not gonna lie. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
when Jesco did their huge rebranding and info dump and stuff, like I was actually like in transit on that day. Like and I was traveling back down because my mom came down for like a week to watch my son while we went back to that training week and all. And
Yeah.
that was that Monday. And like I'm driving and I see like Discord blowing. I'm like, what happened? I'm like, go to the news,
Yeah.
and I can't read any of it because I'm driving down here to Atlanta. And
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
oh my god, I'm so far behind. What's happening? And like the whole
Yeah.
day is just like bothering me. And then I finally get a chance to catch up, and I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
There's a
It was
lot
crazy.
here.
That morning, I woke up, got ready for work, and then one of my locals on the Discord, they go by Blaff. They go, this is funny, and then it was the website. The website was live
Oh,
hours, hours before
really?
the actual. Yeah, it was. I think Andrew had been up since 2 or 3 in the morning
Uh huh.
reading everything because I got a hold of Andrew that morning and I thought it was fake.
Yeah.
Like I thought it was like a
Sorry.
you know I thought it was a fake thing, and then I'm just like, and then he goes, no, Lenoco said to not say anything until after like such and such time because of an official announcement.
It's
And
because
then it's
Andrew
like,
doesn't sleep, just for the record, and
then you go,
it's
then you start going,
it's a struggle.
uh,
Get some
what
rest,
is
man.
this?
You just did some
Cowboy
things.
Bebop?
Yep.
Trigun?
Mm-hmm.
What? Which is
Yeah.
kind of funny because the video they posted, Paul and Lohan's dressed like Spike, and they call Paul, I think, the Tempest or something to do with Vash the Stampede.
I think one of them calls the
Something
other
like,
like
and he calls him
Space
Cowboy.
Cowboy. Yeah, Space Cowboy.
Yeah. So like, it's kind of cool because like if we had gotten that video like last week
Mhm.
about the rebranding, and then they come out with, hey, we're doing Cowboy Bebop, we're doing Trigun. How cool would that have been? Like a little Easter egg
Right.
that people would have to like, because like everyone knows I play Final Fantasy 14, and they just had this big fan fest, and they always in 7.0 had like a trailer, and the main lead producer Yoshida-san always comes out with a T-shirt that says what the next job is, but it's a puzzle. It was the Ninja Turtles this time, and so people are like theory crafting. Are we getting new ninjas? We're like, so
Mm-hmm.
like it's kind of like that deep mind game of, well, here's a little thing to chew on. So that would have
Right.
been really neat if they gave us some stuff to chew on
Yeah,
for a
like if they
week,
if
and
they had
then
just
they
worn
and
the
then,
outfits like something because like for example like
yeah,
Lohan's outfit, like I immediately was like, oh, he's kind of dressed like
yeah,
Spike, but
Spike,
I didn't
yeah,
put a whole lot of stock into it until later when I read it. I was like,
mhm,
oh, that's why he's doing this. But like it would have been
yeah.
fun, like you're saying, if they hadn't immediately announced it, waited a couple days and be like,
Mhm.
oh, by the way, here's
By
this
the
new
way,
products. Yeah.
yeah,
Um.
exactly. Which
Yeah.
which yeah, go ahead.
There's a lot here, right? So like the
Yeah,
first big thing
a
they
lot.
did is they are no longer Jasco games; they are UVS games, and we're only going to briefly highlight this because like this
Yeah.
stuff has simmered for a couple weeks now. People have already talked about it ad
Yeah.
nauseum, but
Yeah.
we just want to kind of
Yeah.
provide you guys our thoughts and perspectives on it because a lot of initial knee jerk reactions, myself included, have probably calmed. But yeah,
I was
UVS
just like,
Games. I
fine.
think UVS Games is a totally fine name. I think it's great. In particular, I
Yeah.
think it probably has to do with the fact that like maybe Jason wants to do stuff later on, and maybe he wanted his title back. That could be an element to it.
Well,
Maybe I don't
it's
know.
also it's also the fact that he's no longer a part of the company,
Right.
and it just kind of and not to dump on Jasco Games the name that much, but it is synonymous with a lot of bad blood in some
Sure.
LGSs across
Sure.
the country. So people don't want they're like a new fresh name. Granted, is it lipstick on a pig? But yet to remain,
Could
we
be.
don't know yet.
Sure.
So
I
it
mean,
could be, you know.
like I do think that they, like I like the logo. I like
Oh, I
the
do too.
name. Like
Yeah.
it's very subtle
I'm
and smooth.
very
I feel like they were trying real hard to come up with like a reason for the V, where it's like it brings us
yeah
together. And I was like, all
together.
right, man.
It
Like
kind of
I feel like that's what someone pitched to you in like the marketing meeting. You
kind
know?
a V kind of splits us apart more
Yeah,
than
kind of a little
anything
bit.
else. A little bit.
It's
But
like
I get it.
it's like the down
Yeah.
arrow. Like we're coming down
Yeah.
here, guys.
Come
We're all at the table. You know?
My issue with the name is, well, is that all they're going to do is Universus products? Are they going to not come out
Yes.
with like board games? Are they going to come out
That's
with
the other thing I was going to say. I'm willing to wager
yeah.
they're going, and this is what's encouraging. If that's true, like we
Yeah.
just both concluded or
Mhm.
believe, that's exciting, right? To know that hey, they really are all in on
On
UVS
it.
as a
Yeah.
game. Like
Yeah.
Jasco was a company that was kind of like a jack of many trades, master of
Great.
none in a lot of
Yeah.
situations.
Yeah.
And like UVS
Yeah.
was the thing that they had that they did do really well. But then they tried to like, hey, we're gonna do puzzles, we're gonna do board games, we're gonna do all these things. And
Okay.
like they did a fine job with it. Like I would say an adequate job with it. But I don't know if any of them were really
Well, I
like
mean,
the grand slams they were hoping for, right?
well, Buffy funded a giant quarter of the last part of of UFS. So Buffy
so-
did have like
cool.
8 printings.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was crazy.
But
yeah.
is that because the game was actually good, or was that because it's just Buffy and therefore people were, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm not trying to
can't
throw
answer
shade.
that.
Like
Yeah.
I don't even know
Yeah,
who
yeah,
designed it or who they worked with to do
Yeah.
it. But what I'm getting at is that like I think by rebranding into UVS
Mm-hmm.
games, you're eliminating any confusion of the what do these guys
Correct.
do? It's
Yeah,
they do
correct.
UVS. That is what they do. And I think they even further cemented that by announcing, as we were talking about, the Trigun and Cowboy Bebop,
Cowboy Bebop.
Challenger
Yep.
deck things, which we'll talk about more here in a minute. But like that's just they're showing their commitment to no, we're gonna have additional non-MHA things because like that was the thing. Like Jasco's like we're only doing MHA for now. Like it's MHA block, you're gonna have to deal with it. And now it
Yeah.
seems like that's opening up again, which excites people. And then they also changed the logo accordingly, right, for the actual Universus card game.
Yeah, which is fine. It's
I like
fine.
it. Like again,
I like it that it says Universus. I like this Universus logo more than the old Universus logo.
Yeah.
It just looks nicer. It's more
It's clean.
cleaner.
Yeah, it's very modern. It's very
the card,
clean. I
the
like
card
that-
backs, whatever. I'm never going to see the card back because I have opaques. You play in tournaments, you have to have sleeves that cover the card back.
Right. Well,
So,
like I like the idea, and this is just the business guy in me, right? Like I like the idea of like they were saying, like it's gonna have this orange banner across the top of the back pack, so you can see it in stores on the shelves. You'll be like, oh,
Yeah,
I
that's
know
really
what that is.
cool. I like
those
that,
are really
yeah.
small things that do help consumers get directly into the product, right? Like it draws their attention
Yeah.
even further. It makes it easily identifiable. Like you want to communicate a lot without doing a lot, if that makes sense. And I think this achieves that. So that's kind of cool. As you were talking about, the card back was also shown. I do like where I was, kind of giving them grief about how they were trying really hard with the whole V thing and getting down to the table. I do think this is really cool. I like the card back a lot. In that way,
I like the
like
reasoning.
I like the reasoning for it. Yeah,
I don't
blue and the
really
orange.
care. Yeah, I'm not a big fan or not. I'm in the middle. It's
Well,
fine.
like I didn't like
Yeah.
the lightning bolt Universus one that we've had for a while now because like the V on the Universus and the red V behind it they're not symmetrical. They don't match up. So like the V is slightly off. So good thing to your point. I don't ever look at the back of my cards because when I do, I'm just like, why? But like whereas this, it's all nice and clean. It is kind of Yu-Gi-Oh-ish. Like I agree with the people's criticism that it looks kind of like a Yu-Gi-Oh back of the card, and that way it's kind of the swirl thing. But whatever. Like to me, this at least makes sense. Like the reason is good, and I appreciate them trying to honor the heritage of the game.
Since they spent the first year of MHA trying to bury the history of the game, and then now they're flipping Now
All
they're
right, we're gonna
clipping
talk
their
about it. We're gonna
yeah.
talk about it.
Okay, so yeah, so like they
um,
spent the first year and a half trying to bury UFS. Like
like, don't
this
say
is
it.
like don't
It's
say it.
taboo.
It
Yeah.
doesn't exist. So now it's kind of funny. Granted, I know it's like that was more Jasco game stance,
Right.
trying to get people or whatever. Maybe it had to do with
Well,
IP contracts
even
or
further, there was
whatever.
some random
But
dude
yeah,
at one point who
yeah,
worked for him who, like, I remember he got on like a Facebook thread or whatever, like shooting
yeah,
people out about it. And then they were like, okay, dude, well, pretty sure I've been playing this game longer than you've even known what it is. So I'm going to talk about it.
yeah,
So, like, what I'm getting is like,
yeah.
that's a losing battle. So I
Hmm.
do think this is the correct approach where you just embrace it
Yeah.
and
Yep.
you make it very clear,
Hmm.
like this format, these cards, not these
Yep.
cards, that sort of thing.
Yep.
But yeah, like
Oh yeah.
I know a lot of people were divided on the back as well. Back doesn't
Yeah.
bother me at
Yeah.
all.
Doesn't bother me. It's gonna be covered most of the time anyways, so it doesn't
Right,
matter.
exactly. I don't look at the back of my cards except when I'm sorting them.
Yeah.
They announced Jetburn. So the next set for my hero,
Yep.
it's going to be that kind of right after the. It's when Endeavor becomes the number one hero.
Yeah.
Kind of he's the go-to
Yeah.
guy now with Hawks and all that sort of stuff.
It's the Hood Nomu kind of arc or ish
Yeah,
thing, and other. I think there's other stuff. It can't be just that because that's like really small.
it's
So it
like
has to
6
be.
episodes max.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like what else have they skipped this season? Like this say they're going chronological order. Didn't
Yeah.
we get a whole license provisional exam? We missed that.
Yeah, there's
That was
probably some other
skipped for
stuff.
the overhaul arc.
Um,
The music festival thing was skipped too,
yeah,
or
it's
is it
kind of just filler
after it?
stuff, but yeah.
It's just filler stuff, but
Um,
they could still go back and do back page
yeah.
stuff maybe for it. So
Yeah, I think Jetburn is a dumb set name personally. But that being said, the artwork looks really cool on the
I think a
promo art.
better name would have been like Heroes Rising. That would have
Yeah,
been a cool
right,
name.
right.
That would have been a cool name. Yeah.
Or
So
like
you guys can use that. Jasco, just send me. I mean, sorry, UVS, just send me a box.
UVS
Don't send
games.
Matt a box. Don't send Matt a box this time. Send me a box. Okay.
Stop sending that Matt guy this stuff. That guy doesn't
Yeah.
do nothing. I'm the idea guy. Chris Smith.
I'm the
Give it
idea
to me.
guy. I'm the idea guy.
That's fair. That's fair.
Matt's the tech guy. I'm the muse.
I'm just the
I'm
producer and all that sort of stuff now, right? He's like, I'm putting the butts in the seat.
Nah. We
Um,
both put butts in the seat. But no.
so-
But yeah, I think the name's kind of weird, but I get why it's called that
Yeah,
because
I like
it's
the font.
Endeavor. The font's cool. Like
Yeah.
the Endeavor thing's kind of cool because I think that's like when he actually becomes. I know like he
It's
has
his
a lot
first
of.
big fight as number one. Right?
Yeah, and then it's also like people started gravitating and kind of pulling for him at that point because they want to see your redemption. Because who doesn't love a redemption story? You know,
Right.
granted,
I got
he's a
spoilers
horrible
for
human.
you.
Yeah, he's a horrible human being. You
Um,
know, and
I won't go that.
But
So, all right. So here's the thing
you,
about
fi-
it.
you find out why
He's a bad dad.
He's a bad dad.
But
It's basically
he
what it is.
Because
Like
he is
Goku.
consumed by his own goals, and he
Yeah.
doesn't do anything for his children. Like I'm telling
Yeah.
you, as a father, he is a bad dad.
He's a bad
However,
dad. Yeah.
I will say that he is a cool character. And even
He's
further,
very-
he
yeah,
does become
yeah.
self-aware enough to realize that he's been a bad dad. But then his problem
Yep.
is he doesn't understand how to not be a bad dad. So he
Mm-hmm.
tries and doesn't always succeed at it. So like he's an interesting
Yeah.
character. He's far
Yeah.
more than when you first meet him, where he's just angry
he
jerk
is-
dad, right?
He's a flawed character, and I think people enjoy flawed characters because the stories are more interesting. And then
Mm-hmm.
a character like, well, this character is good. Like it's like Superman. Like let's
Yeah.
take Superman. Like he has a fight. He usually loses barely, and then he comes out on top because he's Superman or whatever. You know,
it's All Might, right?
you
Like
know,
he's very
yeah,
different
it's
than
All
All
Might,
Might,
yeah.
which is what's
Yeah.
the whole
Yeah.
parallel they're trying to draw there. And like,
Yeah.
and that's other interesting elements. Like he doesn't know how to be number one either. Like he's never
Yeah.
actually been the guy, and now he is.
Yeah,
the guy.
he's always
It's him
been
figuring it
reaching
out.
for it.
Right.
Yep. Yep.
It's kind of like a
Yep.
dog chasing the car. You wouldn't know what to do if you caught it, kind of thing.
Oh
Right?
my gosh! Did we just quote The Dark Knight? Oh, we're getting totally like they're gonna strike this video so fast.
Christopher Nolan's coming for us, guys.
Yeah, he's coming for us. I mean, we could ask him if we can just be in the next movie. Whatever.
Oh man, he's like my favorite director. So, real talk. So, all that being said,
Sick.
yeah, like so this announcement, I read all this stuff. I'm like, all right, cool.
Drums are
this
back.
Stuff. Yeah. New set, cool. New name, new logo, cool.
Yep.
I'm down.
Yep.
But then I read the card frame update.
Oh, okay. So we're gonna differ in opinion
We
on
do.
this. Like
Yeah.
one, I'm kind of just like, it's okay.
Yeah.
And I didn't have a giant knee jerk reaction to it
Sure.
because I have played multiple games. I mean, we've all played multiple
Yeah.
games. I used to play a game called Versus System, the OG Versus System,
I played
and
that.
the card frame kind of reminds me of the Legends series, where they changed the card art, they changed the framing, where you have more of a panoramic view of the art instead of a vertical,
Yeah.
you know, horizontal, I should say, or whatever.
Yeah.
The vertical or whatever. I don't
It's
know, whatever.
landscape
What am I-
instead of portrait kind of thing.
Landscape. Yeah, it's a portrait. Thank you. And I liked the change.
Hmm.
Sure, it was off-putting. You know, it was a little weird at first because, you know, things were like our symbols are in a different spot now.
Mhm.
Our attack and damage is kind of like squashed down. Like everything's pushed down.
All right.
Where
Yeah.
well, I'm trying to do the positive. You could do
Yeah,
your
you
negative
you
Nancy
go.
thing.
Yeah. You're good.
We're gonna have a discussion. We're gonna have a discussion.
Absolutely. That's why I'm not interrupting you. You do you. Yeah. I just have thoughts. At the same time.
I like parts of it. There are parts of it I don't like. Like
Yeah,
I think the
absolutely.
keywords should be moved up into the text box and not on the bottom. But go ahead. We'll bounce back and forth.
So here's my fundamental issue with it. It's like they're trying to fix a problem that doesn't exist. So, and here's what I'm saying. How many people, and I'm genuinely asking, how many people have ever played with an MHA card and like, man, I don't think I get enough artwork. Like seriously, because that's the thing. Time and time again, the whole reason for all the changes is we got this artwork. Our artwork's banging, and guess what? Your boy Matt always says that. I love the artwork in this game.
Yeah,
like to a point where it's become a laughing statement, right? On our podcast, like of course Matt loves the art. You know, like
Matt loves
for
the art. Yes.
And like the template, the overlay that is the card. It was. The MHA one was different than old UVS, and UVS has changed it multiple times with the year. Like I can pull out physical cards and show you all the different ones.
Yeah.
So it's not that I'm exclusively a dinosaur that hates change. That is an element of it, 100%. But like they're trying to solve a problem that doesn't exist.
I mean, like change for the sake of change doesn't need to happen.
Correct. It's not an improvement, and that's my gripe. Is that categorically the only thing that you're improving with the new cards is the amount of artwork people can see, which again you already did with XRs that were when you could, but even further. I've never talked to someone who's like, man, this card game's dog shit because I can't see the artwork. Like no one's ever said that. Like pull up another card game and look at all the text they have on those cards.
I do have one thing to add to that.
Yeah, what's up?
So on some of the foils,
Yeah.
the zone highs and mids look exactly the same.
Sure.
So that's something I have a gripe about, like the pre-art of the change, before the change, because there are people who honestly think that sometimes, oh well, I thought that was a high. Can I take my block back? It's like you kind of played it, so you can't, you know. But people, you know, if you're not sitting across from the person, like webcam, blah blah. Maybe it's easier for webcam stuff. I don't know. I know webcam's a big thing, but
maybe
I don't know. It's just, and I know that I know like a big gripe was the symbols, and I know that we're kind of getting away from outside chaining. You know, like
chain
always
isn't as much of an issue. Like it's mainly a deck building construction issue.
Deck
but however,
construction,
I will talk to that as well. So like I'm just scrolling through the article for the people who are watching, and like
sure.
I get to the tape lash here, and it shows you the two side by side. And this is the version here is not the final version, but like I just want to address a few fundamental issues I have with this. One, Chris, where do you put a title of something?
I usually put it. I liked it on top.
You put titles at the top. And to be fair, I played the game when the titles were written vertically up the side. So again, not just a dinosaur. I'm just saying you finally had got it right. Like it's at the top. It's easy to identify. You can read it. Even further, I played the game when the symbols were across the top of the text box and not down the side of it.
I also should preface that I liked the old titling as well when it was on the side, because I thought that was kind of neat too. That was fine as well.
Yeah,
that was fine too.
But what I'm getting at is that like I've played through different changes, and while I may not love them initially, I came to be okay with them, right? But like they kept all the same information, they just moved it around. Maybe they redesigned and made things transparent, other things like that. So like title at the top just makes sense. I think putting some sort of textured background behind things is a wise decision, which is what our current one did. I think symbols down the side is a wise decision as well, because then when people put them in their card pool and they stack cards, they can easily see it. Chaining isn't as much of an issue, so I understand that not being as much of an issue anymore. keywords at the top. Hey, those are important. I should identify those. But now they're at the bottom for some reason.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, do we know? Do we know the keyword traits are at the bottom? Have we seen anything about a keyword ability yet?
um,
Because I know in the
let's
article
see.
they have blue flame palm. No, is it blue flame palm strike or is it
It's blue flame
or
palm
is it
strike. Or
is
no,
it okay?
it's blue flame
It's this other one.
spiral.
Okay, and that one doesn't have any keyword abilities
Right.
on
It's
it, so we
charge and
don't.
punch.
Yeah, so we don't know if the keyword abilities will be in the text box, and then
Well,
just the traits will be at the bottom.
and here's what I did. So my wife does not play this game. She
Yeah.
is loosely familiar with the game in that way. When we dated way back when, I taught her how to play once, right? That was back during like Street Fighter and all
Sure.
that sort of stuff back in the day with Jesco. Well, I showed her the Gen Con promos, which used the new template. And I was like, hey, I made a list in UVS Ultra of all the current versions of those cards. And then I went to the website and I was like, tell me which one of these is a character card. She could not do it.
Yeah.
And what I'm getting at here is that they've minimized and marginalized all of the distinctive traits that made cards identifiable. Like even here in the
Yeah.
article, they're talking about, even the attack symbol that they had put on cards where they used to just have the word, but we got into a symbol. Symbol's too much now. Clutter for my eyes. My eyes don't know what to focus on. I'm going to put it down in the bottom text box with the copyright
think
laws.
I think they changed that now to just the word because
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, they just changed it to it just says attack now at the bottom. The
Right.
current
Yeah. It now
the
says the
finished
word
version.
attack
Yeah. Yeah, it
in
used
the
to be a
copyright
symbol.
information with the
Yeah.
trademark and stuff,
Yeah.
which is even less identifiable
Yeah.
than over with
Yeah.
the symbols. Like so now on the template, because I have the hawks and his feather up on the screen for everybody. So now the only way you can identify something is by the glowy border around it. That's
Yeah.
supposed to be the color for you to identify. And then even further, like the orange or the attack still have an orange tech box, but that's assuming they're not an ultra rare, because then we can talk about that now, because text boxes are a whole nother thing. Like, and I guess
Yeah.
that's what frustrates me about this is I feel like at every possible decision, it's like, hey, go to the right. That kind of makes sense. Or go to the left and just do something new to do something new. They're like left, 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 left.
Yeah.
So like
Yeah.
cards are going to be categorically more challenging for people to understand and differentiate between, which was already an issue. Trying to explain the difference between
Yeah.
an asset and a foundation, and now I'm going to tell them, well, it's no longer a green card. It has a green border on it that you may or may not be able to see depending on the background and if it's an ultra rare or if it's a comment. Like, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Like whoever you have doing your art, I appreciate the effort you put into this. I genuinely do, because they did. Like you can look at this article
Yeah.
and you can see where they like put a lot of effort into trying to identify stuff and this and other. And that tells me one of two things. One, they had no clue about the game and what was important before they started any of this, because they are learning all of it and trying to figure it out and zone and break it down, right? And
Yep.
two, they don't play card games. They are a graphic design person exclusively.
Yeah.
And I may be wrong. I could be wrong. I do not know this individual, and I'm not trying to be rude or disrespectful to them. Art is art, and they know when they put art out that not everybody gonna like it, and I know there are people who love the new card design who are really excited about it too. And I'm sure ultimately, clearly, I'll deal with it. So, yeah, like it just doesn't improve anything, and I guess that's my problem, right? Like you mentioned the new symbols, and like they even show some of the old cards template, like enemies necessary, a card I play a ton of because I play Midoriya too.
Yeah.
And never mind the fact that that card gained water somehow.
I mean, it's just a mock-up, so
Yeah,
it's
I know,
not
I
that
know.
big of a
But
deal.
like,
Yeah.
here's where they're talking about the different text box, which drives me even more insane, because now like you have really flat, cheap-looking text boxes, and then you have textured ones, and then you have some that are kind of transparent, and then some that aren't there at all. Like, why? Like, just foil the card. Give it different foil patterns. Don't completely change my experience of looking at the card,
Yeah.
because guess what? People already would lose their shit if you played like 3 copies of a normal version and then 1 promo copy, like them personally or the person I'm playing against. Now the game is just impossible. It is, you want to minimize chaos. You have maximized chaos in deck building now, in my personal opinion. So, yeah, not excited for any of the new cards. visually.
I like my overall thoughts on it are just like I think they're okay. Like I'll get used to it. Like I
Yeah.
didn't like the MHA template because I thought it was just kind of hokey looking with like the rocks and the stalagmites and the stuff in the corner, the fire on the corners and all that
Hmm.
stuff like the demo decks had, and some of the newer, set ones and
Sure.
stuff. I got used to it. I was just like, whatever. And then like I don't know, like it would just be like, just like, okay, we'll get used to it. It's just not that big
Yeah.
of it doesn't upset me because I'm still going to play the game.
Right.
I'm still going to use the cards. And it's just like, well, as long as my biggest gripe, and I
Hmm.
have said this multiple times, of MHA in general, is that the character cards look like fig pen. They look fig pen images. That's what they are. They're
Well,
fig pen images because they just have a cardboard cutout. They stick it on some type of pattern in the back, and they
mhm.
just are not like, okay. So they're just not dynamic looking. You
Sure.
want to know why Midoriya 1 RLE is sought after? Because it looks fucking amazing. It's dynamic. Why
Yeah.
does the Jiro get played? Because it's dynamic. The Shoto 2 is popular because it's dynamic. It's in motion. Sure, forget about the big boom and the whatevers, the smashes and the
Sure.
text behind it. The character art is what I'm talking
It's an
about.
action pose
Like
as opposed to
yeah,
just like
it's an
standing.
like why does All Might 3 look so cool? He's in action. He's
Mhm.
not standing there like
Hit
this,
him with the
or
flex.
like
Yeah.
this, or he's sure, those are iconic poses. I get
Yeah.
it. But an action pose will sell me more on playing a character than just someone going,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
it's just give me the character card should always be the most eye-catching thing in your deck because you look at it all the time.
Right. Every game,
Like
all the time. Yep.
like
It's always in
like
play.
like the picture of Jet on okay, so the image of Endeavor on the Jet burn
Mhm.
thing, like he's powering up or whatever, like if that's his character card art,
Mhm.
I'm sold. Like that looks sick. Like
Yeah.
Hawks is kind of lame looking. I think he should be flying or like in
Yeah, he's just
motion.
kind of
Like he's
chilling, like, yo, what's up?
he's
I'm
just chilling. Like,
Hawks.
hey, what's up, man? Like he should be flying towards you. Sure, they may not have a lot of say in what the character cards look
Right.
like because of IP ownership or whatever.
Right.
Because that could lead us into the Trigun Spike stuff, whatever. But
Yeah.
like I think the character cards should be the most dynamic part of your deck, not the ultra rares. Not any, like sure they'll look great, but
Right.
your character card, like, so they're doing alt arts, and then maybe those alt arts are going to be dynamic looking. Like, why does the Midoriya 2 promo get sought after?
Mhm.
Because it's cool looking. It
He is just
actually
standing good,
looks.
to be fair. He's just kind of like,
He's
and
he's
Midoriya 2
standing there.
himself is jumping at
I
you.
mean, I mean, like he's standing there, but he looks awesome.
Yeah, he
Like
does.
it
He does.
looks it
Oh,
looks visually pleasing to the
yeah.
eye.
Yeah. Well,
You
like,
know.
yeah, and to your point, like they decorated it up some, and like,
Yeah,
I am
that's
like,
fine. They should. They should do
yeah.
that with the character cards because they're out on the field all the time.
I don't.
You
I
know?
don't mind like alt art character cards being the ones that do that though. Like you're saying,
Yeah.
like the Shoto, the
That's fine. Yeah.
Jiros, the also like if
Yeah.
the stock one is kind of just that a stock generic one, okay,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yep. That's
But
fine.
like,
Yeah.
give me something cool to chase after, and they did say they're going to do that, and they're bringing back chromes in that set that are going to be character cards also, so that'll be cool.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But like, I don't know, man. Like, I want to talk about symbols for a second because that's the one element of
Sure.
it that we
That's
didn't
fine.
talk about.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
I do not mind the new symbols as much, to the point where I would go so far as to say I think if you made them larger and you just replace the old symbols with them on the new ones, they'd probably be fine. Some of them are
Yeah.
cooler than others, whatever. The symbols, have
good
they ever
symbol.
changed? No, symbols
Yeah.
have never changed. And whatever, I'm just trying to give validity to my. I'm not just a dinosaur to complain. You know what I'm saying?
Oh wait. The only symbol that has actually changed is the infinity symbol. That's
Yeah.
the only symbol that has ever changed. They
Yeah.
changed the design of that. That's it. Yeah.
Yep. But like, yeah, I just don't think that I don't think cards are easier to read. Like I'm looking at Hawks right now, and he's up on the
Yeah.
screen for everybody, and like I can't even read his text box. Now, granted, this isn't like just him, a high res image of him, but like point being is there's a lot going on there, and you don't have that contrast, even that like slightly shaded, transparent background anymore. It's just here's text on a card, and it's just harder to identify. Even further, they're getting rid of versions because you'll notice none of these have a version on them.
Oh, they have not. They have said that we will find out how to differentiate between version 1 and version 2 at a later date.
Yeah, you want to know how it's going to be? I guarantee you they're just going to add surnames to them. Just like they did for
Probably.
Cowboy Bebop and Trigun. It's Vash,
Yeah.
the Stampede. Then there'll
Yeah.
be Vash, not the Stampede. And then
Yeah.
there'll be,
Yeah.
like-
I know what you mean. But
yeah,
yeah,
like,
probably.
it's what other
yeah.
card
Like
games do.
Spike the bounty hunter. You
right.
Know,
And like,
yeah.
and
Yeah.
that's fine from a flavor standpoint.
Mm,
But like it's not better. Again, it's just changing something to change it. Like because all it's going to do is it just makes us type in an acronym when we want to talk about it online instead of just being like Midoriya 4, right?
yeah.
You're going to
Yeah.
be like Midoriya, what is it? One for all, or I'm sorry, yeah, one for all successor or something like that. Like it's
Yeah.
just let's
Izuku Midoriya, all for
or
one
or people are just gonna be
unleashed,
like people are gonna be like set
Yeah.
7 Midoriya. You know what I'm saying? Like it's gonna be something
Yeah.
like that. And like
Yeah. I
and
get
that's
it.
the thing. Like it doesn't again like it just doesn't improve it. Does it make it a little more flavorful? Sure. And if that's
Mm,
what they're going for, then that's fine. But I
yeah.
like I genuinely was trying over the last like week and a half and stuff since this info dropped to find positive things to say
Yeah, sure.
about it. And I even tried to find out from Jazzco if because
You mean UVS games?
yes well no I was trying to find out from Jazzco but now I need to find out from UVS games like
Oh, yeah, there you
yeah
go.
but I
Yeah.
was trying to find out from UVS games that if there was going to be like a platinum box like so remember when they did platinum for
Oh, you
Capcom
mean like
Platinum
reprints
and
of older
reprint stuff on the
cards?
new ones because that's the
I
other problem.
mean, yeah.
Why are you changing the template four
Yeah.
sets in? Like why? Like we're not going to get another 10 sets of MHA. Like why not just say, hey,
I don't know. We might.
I
We
do
might.
unless they're going to continue past the story.
They might. They might do movies. They could do. They could get the movie licenses.
Maybe
Whatever.
I'm just
They could.
saying. I don't think we're going
Yeah.
to get another 10 sets. I could be
No,
wrong, but
I don't know. You could be wrong.
yeah, I don't think. I think what they're going to do is they're going to slowly get to the point where like, hey, all right, and our MHA block is done, and then they'll put it to the challenger set option where you still get some characters every now and then, and
Yeah.
they'll
So
focus on
you
another
could
new block.
because they want to still support the MHA only stuff. They've said that.
Correct.
So
Yeah.
you'll probably and I don't know if you want to hop into the Challenger series stuff by bringing that up or not,
Yeah.
unless there's anything else you'd like to say.
Well,
So
I was just gonna make the point of that's my other gripe with them changing it in set 5 with the templating is like you if I were in that conversation with UBS
that's
games.
it. Maybe
Set 6,
this
you're
is
right. Yeah, we already have
maybe it
5
is.
sets.
Yeah, so maybe it is the halfway point. Maybe we are only getting 10. Just prognosticating.
Yeah.
I don't have any inside info or
Like
whatever.
yeah,
But maybe we are only getting 10 sets. So they're changing it because everything else is going to be this template going forward. And,
but
like
that's
they
my
want to
point.
start off the new IPs with
Like
this template.
that's what you should do though. You should just have
Yeah.
launched Cowboy Bebop and Trigun as this new template, and even further, then you get to see people's reaction without committing to your major franchise, like your go-to, and having a
Sure.
divisive event. You're like, hey, here's this new one because Jazzco, not UVS Games, but Jazzco before them, kind of did this with DLCs, right? You remember the DLCs would have the same template overlay, but they would change the fonts and other things like that to kind of match the franchise, and that's a
Yeah.
little flavorful. And do I love it? It's whatever. But that
Yeah.
like they could have done that same sort of idea with, hey, here's this new template. Oh, by the way, you guys like that? You think that's really cool? Okay. Oh, you don't like it so much? We'll make some tweaks.
Yeah,
And now we're going to
make some
apply it to our
tweaks.
main thing
Yeah.
of MHA.
Yeah.
Or just leave MHA alone forever and just have it be its thing and it's very visually all the same and consistent. Because now you're going to have two different entire card type or card overlays and designs and templates, and that's going to be a whole other thing that people have to work through. So I just want I want UVS Games to go and reprint sets 1 through 5 on the new template.
I mean, they did
And
give examples in that article of older cards with that, so maybe we will get alt arts in the new, like promos or whatever. They're like, yeah, here's a collector's box
Yeah.
with all of these older cards in the new template,
right,
and it's just and it's
and
not.
it's free because you already bought all these.
Yeah, I don't know, whatever. I mean, it's not going to be free. You know that.
I'm just saying.
Maybe that'll happen. But it's like about the symbols. From my opinion, it's
Mm-hmm.
just like the only one I don't really like is the good symbol. But again, it's whatever.
Right.
I know people were concerned about color blindness, but again, I don't know anybody like that. I am not like that, so I can't speak to that.
Sure.
I would still say let's reserve judgment until cards are in our hands, which some of them are in our hands
Right.
because the Gen Con promos. So I'm wondering how those look in person. I'm still waiting on mine from friends who were at Gen Con. So
Right.
like I said, I'll wait until I actually see the card in person before I actually say, these symbols look like crap. Like granted,
Yeah.
the only one I don't like is the good symbol because Sure, it's a star.
Yeah,
Whatever,
you
man.
get your gold
It's
star. You
whatever.
did good, boy. You did good.
I mean, that's cool. Like you did good in school. The rest of them, I think, look kind of cool. I like how some of them are updated. I know a lot of people don't like the crack in the Death Skull. I think it's cool because it
Yeah,
reminds me of what's not the Fairly Odd Parents, but there was one where the Grim Reaper was like a little kid's friend, and
Billy
he
and
had
Mandy.
yeah, Billy and Mandy, like he had a
Mm,
crack in his skull, and that's what it reminds me of. So
yeah,
it kind of like nostalgia-esque, but I'm old, so I know
yeah.
about that. And so like for the most part, I think the all symbol's kind of weird
It's
because
the
it's like a
one
gear.
that's the biggest departure.
It's a gear, which
Yeah.
means I get it, but the all symbol still kind of turns the wheel and does everything. So maybe they're kind of stretching a bit on that, but
So what I
it's
think they should
whatever.
have done with that one is maybe make the gear a little bit larger, because the
Yeah,
old one kind of had that look too, but it was just a larger one. Kind of
yeah.
went out to
You
the perimeter.
you do know that it was a red dot on the void symbol, right? That's all it was. It was the red dot on the void symbol. The all symbol was a giant red dot inside the all in the void symbol. Yep.
Oh, to like actually create it originally.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
I didn't know
Yeah.
that. That's funny. And like it
Mm-hmm.
has little parts of it like the void symbol did, so that makes sense
Yep,
on the
yep.
edges.
It's
But
the void symbol with like a red drop of blood or whatever. People said it was blood. I called it Jello. It's all
oh
just a red dot. That's
yeah.
all it is. It's whatever.
Um,
But yeah,
but
I like the freshness of the symbols. Other
yeah, the
than
symbols don't bother
again,
me at all. I
yeah,
think
they
they're
don't bother
fine.
me. So
They're very minimalist and very
Mhm,
modern art kind of
it's fine.
things.
Yeah,
That's
it's
fine.
fine.
Whatever.
We're
Again,
trying to we're trying we're trying to look like a new game, which is
yeah, yeah,
fine.
yeah. And
Whatever.
and like and I'd love to be wrong. I want to clarify. Like even at my own personal disappointment in the new template and all, I would love to be wrong, and I would love for it to actually solve this problem in the game. Like people will see the game, and be like, "Whoa, that card's so pretty now. I want to play this game." I Again, I don't think I ever heard anyone say that our cards were ugly before and they didn't want to play because of that.
Yeah.
But maybe so, maybe so.
Yep.
And if that's the case, like I think information is just categorically harder to find on cards now, because again, like we're talking about, knowing what type of attack, what type of card it is, knowing where its keywords and what it does are, what the name
Yeah.
of the card is. Like,
Keyword traits at least. We haven't seen keyword abilities on cards
but
yet.
but we have no reason to believe that they're going to be at the top. Like,
They might be in the. I mean, they might be in the text box because they're an ability. So and
eh,
usually all the. So
maybe,
I am being the glass half full person in
yeah.
this exchange. So,
Yeah,
but
but
yeah.
like I do like, even further. Some of the Gen Con promos, Bakugo and
Oh,
Hawks, have illustrated.
The Bakugo looks sick.
Yeah,
Like
well,
I
but even
like
further, they've
that.
illustrated that they're adding traits to characters now, which is
Which is
interesting.
kind of neat. Yeah, which
Yeah,
is very neat. I think that's cool because then instead of like instead of like you can I
it's a
don't know
new
maybe
design
like
space.
it'll be like new cards that reference.
Correct.
Well, if your character is a 1A hero,
Hmm.
blah 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 blah, you
Yeah,
get this. Like Hawks is a hero and
and a
pro
villain.
hero and
It's,
a villain,
hmm
so maybe there are cards that will reference. Well, if your hero like if you're a hero and a villain,
Right.
blah
My
blah
guess would be
blah.
you probably either
You know.
have things that reference, like, does like the old Dragon Ball Z score game did this, right?
Yep.
Where there were hero
Hmm.
only and villain only cards. So maybe we get things like that.
Correct.
Maybe there are
Yeah.
abilities that are hero only or villain only. Like this is not a new
Yeah.
space for card games. It's a new
No,
space
it's
for our
not.
card game.
They
Um,
they Score Z took later Panini took that to like the nth level. Like there were staple cards. Like
right.
these were staple cards that played villains only, heroes only,
Yeah.
and they were usually
Vegeta's physical
contract.
stance, dog.
Oh no, that
That was
ended up
set
being
one.
that was set one, but they changed that
Yeah, it was villains
to a
only.
different. Yeah, it was villain. No, they changed. It was saying heritage only, and then they changed it. I believe they did.
Saying Truce card was saying heritage only.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah.
Whatever. But like Android 18 Stare Down,
Villains
villains
only.
only.
Yep.
But then they had a heroes only that was the same thing, but not as powerful as in
Right.
confrontation. So like so we may gain similar abilities, but
Mhm.
they're going to be like different effects.
Sure,
So
and that's
whatever.
all fun. Like that's a cool space to
Yeah,
explore. I'm
it's a
looking forward to
neat
seeing that.
space.
So
Correct.
far, we've seen pro hero, villain,
1A.
1A, and student. So like
Yeah,
that
student.
might
Yep.
open it up that there could be 1B, because we have class 1B already in the game as well.
Mhm.
My question then is, are they going to retroactively apply this to all the old characters, or is this going to be stuff that only new characters can use? Like that's a whole nother
Alt
thing.
art. We're
Huh?
gonna get alt arts of old characters because they said the alt arts in the set could also be older characters.
Okay.
So older, so like sets 1 through 5, we may end up getting like an overhaul alt art that is,
A
was
villain.
it a villain, Hakasi or whatever,
Right.
I don't know how to pronounce it, whatever, them,
Yeah.
maybe a third one, bad dad,
Bad.
because
Yeah.
of Eri.
Maybe
He's
it's
a
just
bad
him.
dad.
It's just him and Endeavor in that club.
Endeavor are bad dads. Yeah,
Um.
and Goku. Whenever
Yeah.
they get Goku, they ever get Dragon Ball. Oh,
But
rip
um.
Goku.
But yeah. So like I said, like that's something cool. Like, and I guess that's
Yeah,
the distinction I want to draw. Like, I am excited for the new set. I do think mechanically there seem like there's gonna be some cool things. I just again I like the new symbols. I just don't like the template.
yeah,
And we'll see. Like you said, maybe it's something that isn't nearly as impactful when I actually get the hands on my cards and all. Like
mm,
we'll see. I don't know,
mm,
but
yeah,
it just kind of like it's the first time ever there had been a set, and like I had this roller coaster experience of like, oh, this
yeah,
is gonna be super awesome too. Wait, what?
yeah. I
Like,
get it. I get it. I
and it
get it.
kind of dulled the excitement there. So I don't know. All right, moving on from the
So
cards
we're gonna
to
go back. We're gonna go back up the roller coaster hill and talk about challenger decks now.
oh yeah. They did announce challenger decks.
Yeah, they announced challenger decks.
Man,
Yeah,
all right, you want to talk about solving a problem that doesn't exist? Let's talk
I
about
mean, like,
challenger decks.
I mean, I think the challenger decks do solve a problem that does exist, because people were wondering if this game is ever going to have another IP other than MHA in it, and this solves that problem,
That's
because instead of designing a 120 180 card set,
mhm.
you get this truncated. Well, you're going to get a deck with 2 characters, so obviously they're going to share a symbol, because you can play the deck with either character, and then that's what they said. You can play the deck with
And
either character, and
is this something they said outside the article?
no, it was in the article.
Okay,
Yeah,
I didn't remember reading
you
that.
you're gonna be able to play the deck 2 different ways. In every character, and they're gonna come with 2 characters. Bebop comes with Faye, and Trigun comes with Wolfwood. So they're gonna have to share a symbol,
Uh,
because you can play they either said it in the article, or they said it in one of
only
and
characters that have been confirmed are Vash
no,
and yeah.
if you check on the challenger page,
Yeah.
it says Faye and Wolfwood.
I got introducing the challenger series open right now.
Yeah, read through it.
I
Read the
did.
Bebop one. Click on the Bebop one.
There's nothing that says anything
Go
about
go
Bebop
into it.
specifically.
Like, go into it.
Oh,
Like, if you click on the Bebop like starter deck
we'll go
thing, it
back.
actually takes you to another page.
We'll go back. You keep talking.
Yeah,
All right,
yeah.
introducing the challenger series. Here we go. Yeah,
Because
this is
if
the
you
same article I was just on.
yeah, and there should be a link to the Bebop one, and it will say, look at our IPs, or something about new IPs or whatever. But it goes into, they've confirmed Faye and they confirmed Wolfwood for both decks. So they're gonna have to share a symbol. So, and I think that's a good way to introduce new IPs at a slower rate and at a cheaper rate than buying booster boxes.
Right, but that's not what
So
problem these are trying to solve. So, like in
what?
the article, he
Yeah.
talks about he's like solving the need. He's like the success of Clash decks was a bit of a double-edged sword. While we
Oh,
love
that part I don't agree with
that
whatsoever.
our
But what
long-term
I'm
players
saying
enjoy
is,
this product,
yeah,
we still need a product
yeah,
line that can help new players get started in the game. You love our pre-constructed decks. New players need an out-of-the-box
yeah,
solution. What's the solution? Introducing Challenger Series. And then he talks about
yeah.
how he's like the Challenger Series is an entirely new pre-constructed deck line for Universus fans, designed for veteran players. It features pre-constructed decks ready for play in events, as well as special collector boosters. Your deck.
I'm excited about those, by the way.
Your deck will feature mechanically unique cards that you can only find in Challenger Series, and may also include reprints of previous releases. The collector booster set sets the Challenger Series apart from an onboarding product line. The Clash
Found
decks.
it.
Okay, hold on. The
Okay.
Clash decks
Go ahead.
and is a perfect for the avid collector looking to make their deck shine. It includes 6 randomly inserted cards from the pre-constructed printed
Hmm.
or pre-constructed deck printed in a foil treatment, alternate art, and in some cases entirely different flavor text to help deepen the story that's being told through the cards. It says going the extra mile. Because the Challenger Series is self-contained play experience, it lets us do much more awesome things, expand the worlds around us, and that's what we're talking about going into the other things. So here's my thing, and we'll talk about what you're talking about as well in a second, but like, this is not going to stop people from buying
Oh.
your entry-level decks.
Hmm.
Print more of them. That's the solution.
Yeah.
Like all this is going to do is people like collectors, sure, who really want foils, sure, they're going to also buy these. You found a way to tap into them because they can get 6 guaranteed foils.
Yeah.
Everyone else will still just buy 1 or 2 of these, however many they need to buy for a playset. Let's assume 2. And then they're going to be like, all right, cool. I got like 12 foils. All right, cool. I'll either sell these or I'll keep them, whatever. But then they're going to go and they're going to buy 2 of your other ones also. So I think the best thing they did so far to actually address that issue is reduce the number of 1Xs in the set or in the starter decks. You gave us 2. Hey, we only have to buy 2 now.
Yep.
Problem is that people were like, hey, I'm going to buy 2 of each of these. Oh, also, there's some other really good cards in here. Maybe I'll keep buying 2 more of those. Like, I just don't think it's reasonable to think, hey, I'm going to create a product that only new players buy.
No, people are going to buy it.
Yeah, like again, show me a card game that has a product that they sell that only new players buy, that no veteran players who already play the game want anything out of. Even further, why would you want that product? You want to keep selling product to all the people who already play your game in addition to new people. So, I just don't understand why these are even a thing.
I mean, it's just, I think it's more I think that, or I don't know, I don't agree with what his reasoning is in the article, which is fine because not everyone's going to agree.
Sure.
I do like the idea of, hey, we have these IPs that we want to enter into whatever format we're going to do.
Right. It's
so
like I was saying earlier, like you could pivot and you can make Street Fighter or something your main franchise again, and then you have MHA Challenger series coming out.
Challenger decks,
and
which kind of spice up.
These are basically just a souped up version of DLC, right? Like because DLC was that supplemental product where they were Jazzco before UVS games. Jazzco was using to supplement other franchises and keep them in the game. This is the same idea, and that's fine. That doesn't bother me at all because the reality is that I love the game and I love lots of franchises. So cool, but like again, I don't think it's going to solve that issue. I'd love to be wrong.
Yeah. Okay. So scroll down to the bottom of the web. Go to the home page, or actually from where you're at in the Challenger Series thing. Go down to licenses.
Okay.
Click on that, and then click on the Cowboy Bebop one. When it goes to licenses, and then it will tell you what's in this Challenger Series decks, and it says 1 ready to play constructed deck, 2 all new characters to play the deck 2 different ways.
Okay.
So each deck will have 2 different characters. So they're going to have to share a symbol.
Sure.
So maybe each deck will have 2. What?
They maybe even share 2 symbols.
Maybe even 2 symbols, correct. Yeah. So each deck will have, so they're going to have 2 new characters for each deck. So it's kind of, you'll have 2 different ways to play it. So that's how they're going to, I think, expand the
so really with the Challenge
universe.
Series, you're getting 4 characters.
You're getting 4 characters. Franchise. 2 per franchise, correct. Okay, sure. So
that's cool.
Yeah, and then you can introduce other franchises to do the same thing, or maybe have the same franchise but 2 other characters that share. Because you remember how DLC they had 1 of each symbol spliced. Yeah, so now maybe they'll have Challenger Series 2, which would be the other side of Bebop. So say it's Spike and Faye, they'll have Ed and Ein. Ed and Jet, and then Knives and whoever else for Trigun. Sure. So you'll get 2 different ways to play each deck, which is kind of cool because maybe you don't want to play Spike and you want to play the other character.
Well, and here's the other thing. So and this is an interesting thing that they start off with Bebop and then the new version of Trigun because Bebop is 20 years old, maybe a little.
And
more.
There's been nothing new for it since then.
And that's fine, but so what you can do with this kind of product, since it's not ongoing, you can just be like, hey, I want to play the Cowboy Bebop card game. Boom, I go and buy these 2 things. Cool, I can just play the Cowboy Bebop card game now. Oh, this is pretty fun. Maybe I'll expand it further. I think that's a great angle to take. But it's strange that you chose that, a 20-year-old anime, and then one that's 2 months old. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. To be fair,
from what I've heard,
I've never watched Stampede, but I heard it's just a retelling of the original story. It's just updated.
I think it's very similar. I haven't watched it yet. I've watched the original.
I haven't watched it either.
Yeah,
so
it's on my list of things to watch. But,
I just don't know why we haven't. I would rather have seen Yu Yu Hakusho than Trigun, but that's just me because Yu Yu Hakusho is one of my favorite animes of all time. So
yeah, we're
waiting for Dark Tournament.
Demon Slayer. Demon Slayer.
Okay, to be fair, I think Demon Slayer is going to be a tentpole because we talked about tentpole franchises in the video, the Hour X video with True Champion Steven and
Mm.
the other guy from Digimon. I don't remember the guy's name. They talked about tentpole franchises, like how MHA is a tentpole franchise.
Mm.
I think Demon Slayer is a tentpole franchise. So, like Street Fighter's a tentpole franchise. So, like stuff like that, they're not going to do Challenger Series decks. They're actually going to do full booster sets of that stuff. So maybe that's why they haven't announced. Like maybe after
I'm
MHA has had its run,
mhm.
then they do that those other
Your
IPs.
boy's
So,
down for some Demon Slayer. I'm not gonna lie. Would be
I'm
hype.
sure. Yeah. Oh yeah, I
Street Fighter
know.
would be cool too.
I mean,
But
you give me Street Fighter 6, I'm good. I'm
yeah,
good. Give
yeah,
me Mortal Kombat 1, I'm good with that.
yeah,
Mortal Kombat 1's coming out. Let's do
yeah.
that.
Right.
So
Yeah, it's a good
like,
time to be in the
yeah.
to,
In the game,
the game.
correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
So
It's a weird. It's a weird time if you're old and crotchety and don't like change,
right.
for the sake of change. But it's a good time no matter what, because events are popping off. Gen Con just happened. We have
Gen Con
this
just
news.
happened.
They gave promos and
Shout
all
out
that
to
fun
friend of the
stuff.
pod, Mr. Andrew
Andrew
Holder,
Holder,
bringing it down with his boy Overhaul. Brr, brr,
Good
brr.
job, buddy. Good job.
If you want to
Good
see his
job.
deck list, just go and watch his video he posted like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, I know exactly. Actually, it's different. They
Is it?
changed it. Yeah, it's
Okay.
significantly. It's not. The
The
attack base
core.
is the same.
Yeah.
Is the core, but this foundation base has changed multiple times. I've been
Okay.
in.
Okay.
I've also have a version of Life Overhaul, and I've been changing it. We've been talking back and forth, and in our Discord.
It just made me
And
happy, man,
figuring
because
out.
I think the
Yeah.
life symbol is cracked right now, and I feel like
I
no
mean,
one
I
was acknowledging it until now.
I think there's a few symbols that are just straight cracked. It's not just the life symbol, man. Like
I do the
good's cracked. I think evil is cracked right now, and people
what?
are. I do. I think evil's very good. I also think JJ, if he would have drawn attacks, probably wins the entire tournament because that Fire Tokiyami deck is
Nasty.
insane.
Yeah.
Oh, that deck is just Bing Bong. It's a JJ deck total. It's Bing Bong. It's all it is. It's hey, I'm gonna mill 5 for Tokiyami. Oh, Lust for Battles, cool. I'm gonna give your next check minus
That's fine.
whatever.
Yeah.
And like defensively, it gives you it gives you a reason to use his ability defensively because like cool, I'm just gonna breaker you with Lust for Battles, barrier shield, then I'll ice storm block you, breaker for you, and you get minus whatever else to your check. So it could play really, really good defense.
It's kind of like a breaker 5 at that point. But to be
it's
fair, you're also
breaker,
bailing
yeah.
them out because then if they fail it, they don't end their turn.
Well, yeah,
That's the
I
way Lust is
believe.
worded. Lust is worded.
Is it
I'm pretty
really?
sure. Yeah, I'm pretty
Okay,
sure it doesn't end
cool.
their
All
turn.
right.
I could be
Yeah.
wrong. I mean,
But still, it's still really neat to see because everyone was like, "Well, fire is not any good," and then JJ played played a version of this deck at our win a case and smoked everybody.
yeah.
So it's just like, oh boy.
Yeah, oh yeah.
You
I
know.
think Fire. I mean, like the Fire Rappa deck that was in Top Cuts was a cool deck.
That was cool. That thing was 50 and slim. That thing played
It-
16 attacks.
16
That
attacks
was-
is the part that blows my mind, and like,
Yeah.
it's because he runs Bullet Punch, and Bullet Punch becomes like
Yeah.
4 attacks. Like
Yeah.
But like yeah, I mean my Rappa list is only like 51, 52. Like it's like a card or two bigger, but like you
Yeah.
look at his list and you look at mine, and I'm like, how does he have so few foundations? Like
Yeah,
there's just a lot
I
going on there.
know, right?
But it
It's
was cool. It was
insane.
cool to see. Like
Yeah.
I
There was only there was only 2. I want to say there was a Recovery Girl and Overhaul and some Jiros were the only matching characters, I believe, right?
right.
And Jiros were against 2 symbols. Overhaul was on 2 symbols, but the Recovery Girls were both on life. And so
Yeah. Well, and like I think the thing is like so recovery girl is a nuisance, right? But
Yeah.
like people are starting to tech and board the things that deal with her. So like if she gets to those top cut situations and they're not
Yep.
worried about time, then they're like, all right, cool. I'm just gonna wait till I have the answer. I'm gonna blood curl you, or I'm gonna seal you, or whatever.
or I'm gonna burst seam muscle buster you, and just
Right.
I'll destroy everything you bring in.
Right. And then
Yeah.
you just kill her. I still think that she warps the format, like kind of like Tim always
Yeah.
talks about, because like you have to be able to deal with her.
Yeah, you have to deal with her. Yeah,
And if you can't, then you probably just lose to her.
yeah.
I think the one shot All Might deck being gone is a good thing for the format as well.
It's kind of weird how like nothing really happened to that deck, but it just disappeared.
Well, Miria
nothing
became a
got-
character, and a
Yeah,
very
well,
popular
that's what I'm
character.
saying.
Yeah.
That's why I'm saying like nothing
No
got
nerfs.
banned
Yeah.
from that deck
Yeah.
or nerfed, and he just it just disappeared.
Right.
And it's not just like people. should always play damage and stat resets and all that stuff. So a lot of that came into it.
Sure.
Mirio came into it. Step 5 brought in a ton of defense, and
Mm-hmm.
it's just like, it's just cool,
Yeah, dude. Like well, and even further, like talk about Mirio for a second. Everyone's like, "Oh, this is the big bad boogeyman of the format." One made it to Gen Con top
My
16.
buddy, my local from
Yeah,
2 hours south made it. He was Robert Turner played a.
nice.
I was like, how do you killing people with 72 cards, man? He's like,
Yeah,
Magical Christmas Land. I'm like, ooh, we love that land.
I do love that land because I looked at his list and I was like, "What is going on here, man?"
I
Like
know, I
that's my
know. It's
reaction when I
nuts.
look at so many lists. I'm like, "Yo, we got to trim this by like 10 cards."
Yeah,
8
man,
to
but it
10 cards,
worked.
and you might be
It
where you need
worked.
to
It
be.
got him to top 8. It got him his silver dual needle
They
lunge,
know
man.
something I
So
don't know. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, so it just worked out. And a lot of to be fair, a lot of playing in a giant tournament like that is matchups. Like
Yeah. Oh
you
yeah.
may tech for a deck and never see it the
Mm-hmm.
entire tournament. Like you
Oh
may
yeah.
never touch your sideboard an entire tournament. Like shoot, Justin Birch didn't even have a sideboard in his Giro deck.
I heard that. I was like, "What? This
I love
dude?"
it. It's
Yeah.
hilarious.
The
He's just like,
the
my deck is
cojones
just
on that man. I
I am
respect
playing the
it.
best cards I can play. If it fires, it fires, man. I
Right.
don't care, Because I know he posted in the Discord. It's like, well, I'm facing JJ round 1. Either way, I'll be done in 10 minutes. Either I'll be in top 8 or I'll be traveling around the con, and
Yeah.
he beat JJ because Jiro can just randomly bop people on turn 2 and just murder,
20 damage is
So
not hard for Jiro to count to.
no, not at all. And
Yeah.
it's just kind of funny, like how your matchups are your most important thing. Like your deck can be, like you could be playing the world beater of all, but you may top 16, your first seed, you're facing the dude who just snuck in. You know what that dude just snuck in as? Your
Dude,
worst matchup, and you straight up lose.
how dare you bring up my first experience making top cuts at Worlds? That's not
Yeah, I
that's not
remember. I'm
polite of you.
sorry. I
I,
apologize. I
I got there on my
apologize.
boy Yori, and I got paired into
Yeah.
Mr. Karate
Yep.
immediately.
Your worst
The
matchup.
worst, the only Mr. Karate in the tournament, I'm pretty sure.
Yep.
And I'm like,
Yep.
all right. And we were like, I
Yeah.
was like 1 and 16. Like we were with like middle of the
Yeah.
packish, like
Middle of the pack.
so
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
just like it's to your point. Some days it's your
Yeah.
day, some days it's not.
Yeah. Yeah.
And and that's the thing that the more you play, the more you realize.
Mhm.
But like I said, I do feel like there's a fair amount of deck refinement that's still eluding. Like I think
yeah.
about, like, for example, your
Yeah.
friend's Mario list. Like it's good, clearly it made top 16. I'm sure if you can
Yep.
trim 4 to 8 cards out of it
Oh
and
yeah.
get really,
Oh yeah.
maybe shift some to the sideboard or
Yeah.
whatever, I bet it's going to be
Yep.
even more consistent for him, right? And
Oh
that's going to be
yeah.
even
No,
more
I
of a
totally
problem.
agree. I
Like,
totally agree. And
and,
maybe that's the point of not having a sideboard. You're just playing your side in your main deck, and it doesn't. If you
just
draw your
figure it
pieces,
out.
you draw your pieces.
Yeah, maybe.
But like I've always been I mean, like I guess sometimes you just. I don't know. Sometimes it's just better to be lucky than good, and then if you're good and
Well,
lucky, it's even better.
Yeah, so like this version of the game still is very orange card heavy, right? Like
Oh
the
yes,
orange
it
cards are
is.
still just better than a lot of the gray cards. And and I think that's the strength of Overhaul here is that he gets to reuse some of those gray cards, just like someone like a Recovery
Mhm.
Girl does. That's why she's very good as well defensively.
Yeah. Yep.
And like that's a problem that like the aggro decks, a lot of decks don't have sustained aggro, right? Like they don't have a hey, I can put up and I can kind of poke and I can if I ever get the draw, I can just put together the nuts attack string. Like anyone can do that, like any character in the game, not players, but characters in the game. Like if you just
Yeah.
draw the bananas, you check like a god, you do it.
Mhm.
But like
Yep.
having a character and then a person who can pilot it, who can consistently like, hey, I can kind of shift gears here. Like this turn, I can play really defensive. I can play really aggressive.
Yep.
Instead another, and actually
That's
survive.
why I really liked JJ's list because for one,
Mhm.
JJ can play defense very, very well, and
Yeah.
Bird can play defense if you want him to. If you set your deck up,
Historically,
yeah,
historically, the birds that have been successful are the ones that play defense well.
play defense, correct.
Mhm.
And that's something that I've always talked to people about, and it's just like, well, you can have the greatest offense in the world, but that one game that might matter, you may not draw your pieces, and if you can't defend yourself, you're just kind of screwed.
Right.
Like
Well, you look at literally at Andrew's board. It was like 6 pieces of speed reduction, and then some
8 pieces of stun hate.
and then some
It
stun
was
hate
just
and
like,
some card draw. And he's like,
get
all
or
right,
draw.
dude, good luck. I'm
Yep.
just gonna block. I'm
Yep.
gonna hard block everything,
Yeah.
commit stuff down. I'm not doing any other cool combat tricks or
Yeah.
stuff. I'm just gonna make you kill me with more cards.
There was a really cool play that people were that didn't even catch, that he tight-lipped down a on Justin's turn.
Mm-hmm.
He tight-lipped down a new training method
Mm-hmm.
to pocket a high block for later,
Mm-hmm.
and no one caught that. And I was just like, cool, because I've talked to them about that before too, where we've gotten caught in instances where we're not flipping pieces to get them face down for that non-prog block,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, well, and someone was like, well, if Justin just plays his home run comment here, he just dies. And I'm like, well, no, he's going to -3 speed on the cooperation offer.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to -X speed on this thing, call overhaul, block on a 3, and he kills Justin on the crackback.
Right.
It's just like he's gonna block it. Like home run comment does, like the only way to kill him was with the 1.3 million, but he also had a low block in his stage face down, so he was never dying no matter what.
Right.
You know,
So
it's just,
and this is the thing. Like, so that mimic deck was really cool. Like, legitimately, it's a really cool deck. It's the 19 attacks, 19 foundations, 19 assets. This is awesome. This is some
the
Kevin
mimic.
Broberg kind of.
I did not get to watch finals at all. I had family over, but I may have to go watch this because I want to see that mimic deck, because I've seen mimic decks locally. And on, I believe it was on I want to say it was the Oceanic ROE, maybe had one.
Could have been.
Or it was the last webcam ROE, which was, it was kind of neat what the tricks it did, picking up red guard again, doing other things.
Right.
But this one was more of an aggro build.
Yeah. Well, and this deck, like, he did lots of cool things. Like, you could tell this dude had played this character a lot, because he had lots of really cool, like, small interactions. Like, there was this cool interaction where he was, he's using new training weights or whatever, right? Because that's like the bread and butter of the deck, adds lots of damage.
Yeah.
But, like, even further, he can use it like, I was about to reference Shinobi Tradition, but that doesn't do any good. He can use it like other things that let you ready them, like Refreshing Slice. Think of it that way. Like, Refreshing Slice lets you pitch momentum to ready it. Well, hey, so does new training weights. So for him, that's another foundation. It's like he's doing all sorts of cool stuff to play defense or to pass checks.
And then he gets minus or plus damage on that too when he commits that asset.
Yeah.
I know a big part of his deck was as Twisting Azure Inferno, that he was just like, cool, I'll commit this training weights, give it +3 damage.
Yep, immediately online. Yeah, and
online
really cool.
immediately. Yeah.
And but I will say all that to say, like, and the games were pretty close. Like, there was no game where it was just a blowout. But watching it,
that's cool. That's what we want.
Watching it, I didn't think he ever had a chance to win. It just seemed like there was one turn where, like, Andrew was kind of on the back foot, and it was like, if he can push through one more attack, but he had to play like 3 or 4 attacks to get to that point. And
because overhaul blocks your first 4 attacks pretty easily.
Right, and it's like, okay, so now what? And like, and I'm not trying to, like, dude's deck is awesome. He played incredibly well. It just legitimately, like, watching it, I was like, I don't think there's a way Andrew can actually lose this at this point. Like,
hey, he should. The guy. I mean, to be fair, I'm not sure of the mimic player's name, but his deck's going to be copied across the country.
Oh yeah.
So everyone, because for one, I want to play that character because he does neat things. Like he does something no other character really does.
Right.
You know.
Well, so like I think
it's very neat.
The thing is that, like, and I haven't gotten to play against Overhaul yet, but the way I would approach it is I'm going to put pressure on Overhaul as much as I can every turn. It's just like playing K2 back in the day. Like when you played against K2,
it's like playing against Momo. You just pressure her every turn, and she has to blow up her board.
Right. And there was one point, like I said, where Andrew was like 3 face downs, 2 face ups, and had like 2 cards in hand. I'm like, dude, he is on the back foot. He killed him the next turn though. And I'm like, right, but like if you can get that kind of pressure, also I'd be interested to see how Overhaul does into like an Earth matchup of some sort that actively is flipping his things. Because then he loses his damage and healing, right?
I really want to see the All Might 3 matchup into him, because All Might 3 can play more attacks than he can block.
Right, but you just got to be able to pass him. Which
you have to pass him, correct?
I mean,
correct.
Small limbers go a long way. Nice tries go.
Yeah, it's just you know how we are. We're biased towards that character on this, on this podcast, but he could do no wrong. But
you're not wrong.
I would really think that matchup would be kind of tough, but again, it's the people playing the decks, stuff like that. Your matchups, you may not face an Overhaul all day. You may not face an All Might 3. You may not face, the big bad in the room,
Right. Well, it's like I was telling you, like, so last store championship I got to play in, I played All Might 3 off of air, and I was telling you how, so it was 4 rounds, and there were 3 Shigaraki 3s at the event. I ended up playing all 3 of them, beat all of
Freest
them.
win, freest win ever.
Freest win, yeah, yeah,
You
yeah. I
know?
mean, like one of them, like I said, took a game off of me. He actually had a really cool
Yeah,
sideboard
yeah.
into a Bakugo 1 for
Oh,
game
cool.
3. Yeah, it was
Okay,
really cool. It's like,
okay.
whoa, this is a hard
That's
pivot, but all right.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and then I played against Mineta 2, which was ended up winning it. And
Hmm.
I was like, okay, so today I learned that All Might 3 beat Shigaraki 3, which I already knew, and
Yep.
that Mineta 2 is a pain to play
Strugg.
against.
Yeah,
And I just
yeah. That
I
deck
couldn't
is a
come over.
struggle.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so um,
yeah.
yeah, I need to tech for Mineta in that situation, right? Like I need to have something at least to deal with some of his shenanigans if
Yeah.
I was going to keep playing that deck. So
Hmm.
all that to say, like I think that the Mimic deck still has some room to grow in it. But like
Correct.
that
Yep.
deck is really cool, and I watched the earlier matches too. Like he
Yeah.
destroyed some people along the way,
Sure.
and like it's a cool deck. But like I said, like Andrew's overhaul deck, legitimately, I was just like, and I think it's the life symbol. I could be wrong.
He's also been labbing that character since reveal.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
also he's put the time in.
Oh
Don't
yeah, yeah.
discount
I'm
that.
not
He's
diminishing
also
his.
put yeah,
I'm saying I
yeah.
think the life symbol right now. I think the
Oh
gap
yeah.
between it and other symbols is larger
Yeah.
because think about
I would say the good symbol's pretty close. The good
dude.
symbol's
All
pretty
right,
close.
like literally after actually last night, I just went. I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna list up an Asui life list real quick
Oh,
because
that deck is dumb. Trust me. You get to play repeat. Are you doing the repeated smash or Nedre wave
Nedre
or
wave.
both? Okay, yeah. That deck is insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, but here's the thing. Loving Father in that deck is bananas.
Oh, uh-huh. We know this. Everyone. Oh, yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
like
Oh, yes.
you look
Oh,
at
yes.
the foundation base that life got out of this set, and then you add in some of the attacks
Hmm.
too. But like the foundation base alone,
Yep. Very
it's
good.
bananas. Like
Yep. Very
there's
good.
so much good stuff off the
They got
overhaul.
defense. Like
Yeah,
the seven hander has a defensive
yeah,
package now that she could survive now.
yeah. She also just
Yeah.
has commit +3 damage.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that seems pretty good. Also,
Yep.
just once per turn, discard a momentum. If you have more face downs than your rival, draw a card.
Draw a card.
Yeah, I always
Uh-huh.
do because I'm Asui.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is. I don't know if the deck's any good, but
Oh, it,
man,
it, it it's scary. I know Tim has posted something in the Discord of that type of Asui playing, hey, look, I'm gonna loving father these tongue whips back. I'm
yeah,
gonna loving father these tongue smacks back.
yep.
It's like, okay, I'm just gonna just play 10 attacks and eventually you'll
Right.
die.
And to your
For all
point, like
8 damage.
with Nejire Wave, you can play the late game where you're like, okay, cool. I poked a little bit. I got some momentum. Cool.
I'm
Play
gonna
it. Commit
commit
three.
3.
Play it.
Yep,
Commit
kick.
3.
Yep.
Your board's
Mm-hmm.
gone. All right. +2 speed to everything. I guess I
You
just kill
can't
you
block.
now.
Yep.
Cannon blast.
Yeah.
Close it out,
Yeah.
baby.
Yep. Yeah. And that was something, like you could also, because when JJ and Nate and Byron came over for
Hmm.
the win a case and Tam came over for the win a case, Byron was playing the repeated smash version of that deck.
Hmm.
And that deck is nuts.
Because
Like
it's
you
got
just
range on
got
it too. Yeah.
you got repeated smashes readying everything, repeated smashes to ready your passing the torches, your defensive pieces, your
Right.
whatevers you need. And it's just crazy. It's just like the way how crazy that character is. Now she has a defense to back her up, and that's the scary part,
Yeah.
right?
Oh yeah.
Like,
Yeah. She can survive and I don't know. Like I said, it's one of those things. I'm like, this deck seems bananas, and like
mm-hmm,
she's always on the
mm-hmm,
radar. At least for me,
yeah.
of like characters that
Oh, for sure. Oh, for
she just
sure.
seems solid,
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yep.
So all that to say, I think the life symbol's crazy right now. I'm glad to
Yeah. Oh, I
see
agree. I
Andrew
agree.
show people that it is very good right now.
Mm-hmm.
I think other symbols are good, but I question like the good symbol. I question how strong it is as a symbol versus how good it is with Mirio because he fixes its problem, which is all the attacks are mid.
True.
Like
True.
because that's the
That's
thing. Like
true.
whenever you build a good punch deck in particular, you're like, man, this is a really mid deck, and
Well,
he
that's why
solves
you.
that.
Yeah, that's true. But like, I don't know. Yeah, I guess so
If
for
you're
the
All
most
Might
part.
3, he helps solve that as well, right? He adds 2 to 3
Yeah,
speed to them
yeah,
so they become harder
it's
to block.
yeah, yeah. And I mean, like I've also evolved my version of All Might where I've gotten away from jab. I don't play jab anymore
Yeah, sure.
because it's the middest. It's only like it's the most middest attack that just draws me a foundation
Right.
into my hand. I'd rather play something more meaningful. That's
Hmm.
why I just play something different now.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, but like overhaul solves the like I don't know, like he just solves the part of, hey, I'm stringing out, and I get to play this cool attack, ignoring non-prog that will ready most of my board because it's a repeated smash,
Yeah,
stuff like that,
and
or a
that's
tongue
a
whip,
question of
or
how good, like, does this deck still do what it's doing right now? Like, is life still the de facto best symbol for him if repeated smash wasn't around? Clearly, it is around, but
I know. Levi said this, but I've heard Andrew himself say this. Like uh, the Earth symbol is the boring symbol. The evil symbol is the cool symbol, but the life symbol is his best symbol.
right,
Like I will take that from him and agree with it because he's put the hours, the games in with the Unfun Stuff crew. So
right.
I don't know how many games he's labbed, but I know that he's just been labbing that character over and over again. And so I would probably take that as, as not as like overall truth, but I'm saying that it's probably a really good fact that
Yeah,
he's probably correct on that. Like
yeah,
just
sure,
on the overall strength of,
sure.
like there's nothing wrong saying that the Earth symbol's
But
bad. It's just like
but like
it's not as,
if you cut repeated smash out of that though, you have to
yeah.
pivot pretty hard on what the attack lineup looks like. Um, like you still run Haymaker.
I,
You still probably
I,
run.
I
Um,
still think you future charge because you need to have because he's said multiple times
you
he
need
is
that card
hand
draw.
starved.
Yeah,
You need to draw cards, so
yeah.
he's going to play that. Like tongue whip, you're always going to play because that card just kills people.
But like the way
You
he's
know,
getting kills is he's extending
yeah.
really far and readying
Uh
his
huh.
board. And if
And
you
then he's playing cannon blast to kill them for the rest of the damage. Yeah.
right, and if you can't ready your board up to do that, then what ends
Hmm.
up happening, right, is what the question I'm pitching,
Oh,
and
it
it's just a
probably
testament to how
changes to
good
more of like a
repeated is.
yeah yeah. Oh, repeated's nuts.
Repeated
Like
is
that card's
super
insane.
strong.
Yeah, card. It's a secret rare for a reason. That's
Yeah,
they
yeah.
want their boxes to be. They wanted their boxes to be worth something. The secret for the majority of the secret rares, they're like they're good.
They're like 30-ish bucks normally.
Yeah,
There's a couple of them that are sub 30.
yeah. Oh yeah, I would say the attacks are more wanted than the actions, obviously.
Hmm.
So, it's just what it is. Well, at least it's not quirk pack cards, which technically that's what they are. But
Yeah,
whatever.
actually someone pointed that out, and I realized I was like,
Yeah.
oh, that is kind of what they are, aren't
They're
they?
basically the quirk pack cards in the set. Yeah,
And
that's
just
basically
in the
what they
set
are.
instead of
Yep. Hmm.
yeah, which kind of
It's
feels
fine.
bad, but at least they have
It's
cool artwork
whatever.
on them, and they're
I mean, they're
strong.
still in the set. They're still in the set. They're not in
Yeah,
booster
right. They're
packs.
still in
They're
packs.
not. They're still in packs, but not in special packs.
Right, they're not LGS only. Like you might just randomly
Uh,
open one and get it, or if
hmm
you're never
Like I
gonna just
did. I
randomly
got
open a
my
quirk pack.
fourth at I got 2 packs at my local two
Yeah,
weeks ago, and I pulled a repeated
I
smash.
hate you.
So,
I
and
have
then I got
one.
my and then I played in the PSC 2 weeks ago. They had to IOU us packs,
Yeah.
and I got my packs last Saturday, and I pulled a rejuvenating smash and promptly sold it for $30. So I got to pay. I paid for both my PSCs. It was great.
I hate you so much. I broke down and
you
I
know,
bought 2 rejuvenating smashes just so I could have 3, so that way I could actually
gotcha.
play decks because I keep
Mm,
putting it in everything. Like I got a Midoriya 4. I want to run it in. I got All Might. I want to run it
yeah,
in. I got an Eraser Head. I want to
yeah.
run it in. I was like, all right, whatever. I just gotta buy this
Eraser,
card.
I mean, you'll probably end up cutting it from All Might. I've been thinking about sideboarding it in All Might 3,
Hmm.
just because I draw enough cards as it is, and it's always a 6 diff in him unless you're blocking
Oh,
with
we
it.
ain't talking about All
So,
Might 3. Come on now. You know I love that Smash
yeah.
Might.
Yeah, I know, but I'm talking about All Might 3.
Yeah,
So,
but I'm
from my
saying when I'm
my
running it
person.
in, like Might
Yeah, oh no, you run it in Smash Might. That card's great in Smash Might.
draw
You
all the
know.
cards.
Yeah, that's what we do.
But yeah,
But
man,
yeah.
I am. I don't know. Like other good things today. Great simple diversity.
Oh, gosh, yes. Gosh, yes.
Also, key takeaway is vast majority of characters that aren't from set 1 or set 5 aren't gonna be super competitive. Is what it seems to be. Like there's a few,
Un,
but most of the characters are from set 1 or
unfortunately,
set 5.
yeah. And I think that's just kind of, I don't know if it's a design philosophy just as of late from set 4 to 5, because set four's characters were pretty good.
Mhm.
Granted, they don't get a lot of play, but like
It seems like they
they're
intentionally
starting to,
wanted set 5 to be another like, hey, here's a good entry point kind of thing for you. And these
yeah.
characters are
And I
gonna be
like that.
competitive. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
and
do too.
and I think that's fine. And I
Yeah,
think that's fine. You wanted Mirio and Overhaul to be good
you want them to
because
show
they're
up.
fan favorites
How
and
is
they're on starter
Midoriya
decks.
still not showing up?
He did show up. He just okay.
A
So this
ton
is
of
my
people played
theory
him. A
that
ton of people played him.
Midoriya fours fought each other, and so they all knocked each other out. and I think that's
Maybe,
probably what happened.
maybe I don't know.
So I don't know the standings. I don't know the final standings from Swiss. I don't know
Yeah.
who played what, but it would be really if you were at Gen Con and
Hmm.
you know anything about and you can solve Matt's problem that he has about
I
where
just
all the
want to know
Midoriya fours went to,
where have
so
all the Deku's gone.
gone. But yeah, it was kind of interesting because he was one of the top characters played.
Yeah. Also, I
He,
drafted him in that draft we did, and I want him
yeah.
to start making some top cuts so I don't lose the draft
I mean,
horribly.
I'm pretty sure that I'm just in last now because
I don't know.
I don't remember what I drafted.
Yeah, I
So
don't either, but I'm pretty sure that I'm actually in last. You at least got a good start on the first one. I don't think any of the characters
yeah.
drafted would have done anything.
I think Richard's winning because he has Overhaul and
Yeah.
Eraserhead, and and yeah, they
Where's my
Overhaul's done
measure
really
raise
well.
at?
Yeah, but okay, so talk about a criminally underplayed. Okay, let's take a break and play underplayed characters. Where are the Nezures?
Where's measure
Like,
raise?
are people just not playing her because she's hard to play?
I
I
thought for
think
sure
that's
Tim
what it
Keefe would be
is.
playing her, and I was a shoe in Tim, and then you played Sato
Yeah,
one, and I was like,
he played
no.
Sato. Yeah, he played Sato. Yeah, he played Sato. Yeah, which is kind of weird because you like with how prevalent life and good decks are, and how keeping Aerie safe just beats that character. Like
Hmm.
it seems like if you and Tim is a way better player than me, and he may have more insight into this, which is really great. If you could comment this in the comments about why you played Sato one.
I think it's because
In my
Sato one gets to play Blood Curdle and not feel bad about it.
yeah, and not feel bad about that's
Which
probably what
because
it is.
Tim's very much so
Yeah,
the you have to be able to deal with Recovery Girl or your deck's not
girl.
viable, and
Yeah,
that's a way
exactly.
to deal
Yeah,
with her. Um,
yeah,
Also,
yeah.
where was
I'm on.
Gamer Toga?
Yeah.
How has Gamer Toga not shown up yet?
Yeah, I don't know.
Was
Repeated
Bromley not
Smash
at the
Gamer
event?
Toga's pretty good. No, he was there. I just
Okay.
don't know. I just don't know. Even Jose didn't even do very. I don't even.
Yeah.
Jose
Well, I mean,
wasn't
like,
even
yeah,
in the top.
yeah, they didn't make tops,
But
but I'm sure they
they
were
didn't make top.
top
They were
32,
there.
top 64 or
Yeah,
something like
they
that.
were
Yeah.
close. I'm sure.
Yeah.
But it's just interesting to see like the cream rising to the top. I should say. It's really neat to see finally like people are like, well, Overhaul's nuts. And it's just like, well, yeah, the character's very strong. And
Yeah.
Mirio is very strong. And it's good to see these cool set 5 characters
Hmm.
representing because it's the new set. You want to see that. Like we had a Fire Rappa that was just insanely nuts. And I wish I could see that, seen that character's games on stream because I
They're
didn't really
pretty
pay
cool.
attention that much.
It was fun. It was fun to
But
see.
because I had my own PSC to go to last weekend. So, this past Saturday. So, all my 3 represent.
Whoop, whoop.
And, I
Damn.
scooped my buddy into finals, and he ended up winning. So he got his invite. So yay, my buddy.
There you go.
But yeah, so I don't know. It's just like, Gen Con, I guess, was a good experience for
Did they
people. I want
announce
to say.
anything? I feel
Nope.
like they announced nothing. Like we still don't know
Uh,
anything about Nats right now, outside of when
we
and where it is.
only when and where, and that I can't go, which is sad.
Dude,
So
so here's my thing, and I was talking about this on our Discord. I'm going to need the Nats promos to actually be legit this year, and
yeah,
they need to be
I have a feeling they're going to be.
they need
I
to be
really
generous
do.
also. Like I'm not saying you got to give
Yeah,
everyone a playset, but like
yeah,
none of this you get one copy per team
yeah,
kind of crap like they did last year. Like that just felt
yeah,
bad. Like you're literally sitting here like, well,
yeah,
there's 3 of us and 4 promos.
yeah. That sucks. Yeah. I
So
don't know. I mean, like because like they said, set 6 is winter 2023, which is really weird because
it's got to come out before
Christmas.
Nats. It's got to come out before Nats.
Because if it doesn't, so this is my thoughts. Nats is going to have the world premiere for set 6,
So here's my thought.
and then we get it a month later.
Dude, I hope not. Like, because if so, then this format is going to be like, I don't want to say super solved, but like, there's going to
Yeah.
be very clear lines because there's just going to be so many events in between now and then. And I feel like if you want a fresh meta for that event, you
Yeah,
have to
but
release
then
at 6 because
yeah, but it's
the
the
end of
same thing that happened last year where we have a set 3 meta for 2 events.
if they release it towards the end of, or I guess it'd be mid to end of September, then it's about 3 months after set 5.
Yeah.
And then that gives you about a month before. But the thing is that doesn't give you a month before all the international ones because the U.S. was actually
Correct.
the last one. So like it may
Yeah,
just be
the
this is the
international
format.
ones are going to be the old format because they're not going to have the cards.
Right. So like that would be weird to have like invites to your world event, some on this, some on the other. So like you may be right. Maybe that
Yeah.
is where they start like demoing it and all. But I don't know. I'm going to NASA. That's the only event I'm really getting to travel to this year. I'm very excited. It's my
Yeah.
birthday weekend, so we're gonna do it big.
Hell
But,
yeah, that's
yeah,
cool.
so
You have that birthday buff.
Dude,
That's
I'm
what we're
hoping,
talking
man.
about.
Hoping.
Birthday
Maybe
buff.
I gotta
Yeah.
start getting some reps in, man. That's why I need to figure out what format it's gonna be, right? Like if I can figure out a deck for this format, then I'm all right, I'm ready. So just gonna play that one deck from now until then, kind of thing, right? But
Yeah, and then like
and
if
then a
the
new set
deck's
comes out, and I'm screwed.
no, and the new set comes out, and then you just augment that deck, and then you should be okay.
Yeah, we'll see. I
Unless
don't know.
there's
I need to.
you
I
know.
need to do good. I want to. I'm not saying this is like a farewell tour, but at the same time,
Oh
I definitely no,
no,
it's not a farewell tour by
no.
any means. But like, I
Yeah,
definitely
yeah.
don't think I'll be able to travel as frequently as I would
As
like to,
much.
which is why I'm
Yeah,
glad they do the
that's
store championships. But
yeah. Store championships have been a great idea. I've gone to a
hmm
lot, and it's been a blast every time. I've had fun every time.
100%, I agree.
Yeah,
But hey, man,
and I hope
anything
they
else
continue to do that.
that you want to touch on before we
Uh,
call it? Because it's been about an hour and a
uh,
half, so we've
Boar's
given
Hat
the people what they
Games.
want.
Boar's Hat Games. August 19th
hmm
is our second PSC. Come play in Elgin, Illinois.
There you
If
go.
you're around us, come play.
Yeah,
Our win a case was fantastic. We had 20 something players. Gave away cool Borver Hall mats, and everybody wants a Borver Hall mat. So yeah, we're
that's
top
awesome.
eights. So yep, and and we have a new Mirio mat for
Yeah.
season 2. Yeah,
But-
it's cool. But yeah, it was awesome. Congratulations, Andrew!
Yeah,
Yay!
you did it, man.
You remembered to do the +1 speed, but you did it 4 times, and you killed your opponent. So we appreciate you for remembering. So no more. Hey, I forgot what gotcha did.
There
You
you
know.
go.
So it was really funny. It was like commit for 1 speed. He remembered.
Yeah. Oh, he
So.
got there.
But
But
yeah, it was fantastic catching up, man.
yeah,
Hopefully
man,
we can
absolutely.
get more on a
We'll get on the
consistent schedule.
We'll figure it out for
Yes.
sure. And
Yeah.
and again,
Figure it out.
guys, let us know your thoughts on what we talked about today in the comments down below, and we'll try to get back to you more regularly.
Algorithm.
Algorithm things, yeah. Don't forget all this. See,
Algorithm
it's been
things.
too
Boop,
long,
boop, boop, boop.
but
Yeah, it's been too long. We're getting back. We're rusty.
yeah.
So